Hi there, my name is Bob Whipple. I'm a professor of English at Creighton University. I've been teaching first year composition since 1981, January of 1981, for well over 40 years. I'm 65 years old and still love teaching composition every semester. When I first started teaching, I taught with a Sheridan Baker handbook in my hand and a keyhole diagram in my heart. I was given a handbook, a firm handshake, and directions to the door of my classroom. That was it. The fact that I had a bachelor's degree in English was my authority. I sometimes feel sorry for the students I had that semester, for much of my instruction was reading to them out of the textbook. I had just left another career in a totally different area, so I hung on to what I thought I knew about teaching writing with the grip of steel. When I got out of graduate school, I was another teacher. I had heard of the process model, but I still assessed students on the ability to produce 5 paragraphs that were error-free. I was a holistic grader and I believed in sentence combining and was a fan of early 70s assessment theories. But I still assessed according to error and structure. I was a mess. The title of this very short essay, this very short talk, is Writing as Digital Departure. What have I departed from in the last 30 years? Hang-ups, put-ons, poses, attitudes, and a slavish reliance on what the external university thinks that I should be teaching my students. I am, after all, the expert in writing. I am fortunate enough to have a university that values my expertise. I have departed from or abandoned any pretense of teaching grammar, usage, sentence, punctuation, or spelling. I have departed from the idea that writing only occurs with black ink on dead white tree product. I believe in Kathleen and Yancey's concept of writing in a new key, or rather, composition in a new key, and that new key is the inevitability of multimateriality in composition. I have departed from the 5-paragraph theme, and as much as it seems to be a requirement by my colleagues, I have abandoned the assumption by my colleagues that my job is to teach their students how to write set-piece research papers. It's not. I abandoned that idea and left it floating behind me in the ocean of failed theories and assumptions and poses a long time ago. I have abandoned the idea that the internet and social media are dangerous to good writing. They're not. They are essential to good writing. Rhetoric is everywhere, and I've abandoned the idea that rhetoric is only what rhetoric scholars say it is. Scripture tells us that there is a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. I say there's a time for departure as well. I've abandoned what I've abandoned, and I've embraced the possibilities of multimedia. I have embraced the idea that everything is rhetoric. I've abandoned the idea that everything needs to be argument, that narrative, especially personal narrative, is a second-class rhetoric. I've abandoned the assumption that Wikipedia is an evil thing. I've embraced the idea that everything is up for interrogation. I've abandoned the perceived need to care about what others think about my teaching, embrace my deep sense of comfort in what I know is right for my students to succeed in what is laughingly called the real world. To end, some queries. First, when are composition teachers going to begin to codify standards for a new multimedia rhetoric for the first-year composition classroom? Second, at one time, the 5-paragraph theme was a standard and a rule. What then are the new rules? Third, should we engage our students in helping us derive these rules? And finally, will such a codification, a making of rules, be a betrayal of the assertion that rhetoric is necessarily and almost always fluid? Thank you very much.